Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Truly appreciate it. Today's video is going to be all about getting the bezel-free kit installed on 32-inch monitors. So we've been running the bezel-free kit now for about a month on our 32-inch curved Dell monitors. And if you're running triples and you want to enhance immersion, you absolutely need this kit. This video today is all about how do we get these installed on 32-inch monitors. The difference is, I'm not going to tell you to get anything 3D printed. You don't need to go out and buy any plexiglass, and you don't need to get messy using tape to mount these. My way is clean, effortless, and will cost you less than a cup of coffee. So let's get right into it. Before we get started, if you're enjoying our channel and you're enjoying the content we produce, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. This way you'll be sure to never miss any of our videos. So as most of you already know, the bezel kit was designed for 27-inch monitors, but many people out there, me included, have figured out different ways to mount these on 32-inch screens. I've watched endless vids, and most of the viable solutions all require 3D printing. Problem is, A, you either need a 3D printer, or you gotta buy something on Etsy or eBay, which will run you anywhere between $50 to $100 from what I've seen once you include the shipping. My solution cost me roughly $2 at my local dollar store. So believe it or not, we're going to mount these with a simple sheet of foam core. Best part, the result is going to be clean, effective, and super easy to do. Here's what you're going to need to get this done. So you'll need your Asus ROG Bezel-Free Kit, a black sheet of foam core, a ruler for cutting, and a utility knife with a fresh sharp blade. Alright everyone, so here is a photo of what is more or less the finished product, and the only reason I'm jumping ahead a little bit here is because I want to talk about dimensions. So in the next segment of the video, I will show you how everything was cut down, how we mount the foam core into the bezel mounts, and how we get the mounts mounted onto the actual screens themselves, and how we obviously get the film inserted into the foam core. But in this segment right here, I just want to talk a little bit about dimensions because you will need to measure specifically for your monitor. So in my case, I have the Dell curved monitors. And what I did is measured this area right here. So in this case, on my monitors, I have this black frame that goes around the screens, and that measures about 1/4 of an inch high. Now the bezel mount itself, this area here from here to here is about 1/2 inch. So I needed to cut a piece of foam core that measures 3/4 of an inch in height. The width of the foam core is going to be standard. It's going to be 3 inches wide. And when you're inserting that foam core into the mount, which again we'll do in the next segment, if you find that it is a little bit snug, you can trim about 1/8 of an inch off the width of the foam core and it'll slide right in there. You do want it to be snug though, and I'll explain why a little further in the video. But again, what we're looking to do here is you need to measure the bezel of your monitor and add about 1/2 inch to make up for this area. So what is going to happen is we have 1/4 of an inch exposed here covering this area here, so we're not going into any of the graphics during our gaming, and this is what's holding the film in place, and then the other 1/2 inch is inserted into the bezel mount. For the bottom mount, we're going to have a lot more bezel to cover. So in my case, I have 1 inch of bezel in height here, and again I have 1/2 inch for the mount. So I'm going to cut a piece of foam core that measures 1.5 inches high by 3 inches wide. The 1 inch portion is going to cover my bezels, and 1/2 inch is going to get slid into the mount itself, and again this is going to be holding the film in place. So in the next segment, we're going to go through that now. We're going to cut everything down, get it mounted onto the mounts, and I'll show you how to insert the film inside the foam core and get everything snapped onto the screens, and off to the races we go. All right, so here we are with everything we need to get the job done. I've got my 2 mounts, top and bottom. I've got my utility knife and a piece of foam core, which I've already cut down to 3 inches in width. So now all I need to do is cut my height. I'll start off by measuring one piece at 1 inch. I know I said I need about 3/4 of an inch. I'm just gonna cut off 1 inch and then trim it if I need to. I like to use a square just so I get a nice clean cut on the edges. So we'll cut this down. Best thing with foam core is do multiple little slits, and then if the blade is sharp, you'll just get a nice clean edge. There we go, like that. So that's my first piece. And again, the 1 inch in this case, which is the 3/4 of an inch that I showed you guys in the previous video, is going to be used for the top. Now I'm going to cut the bottom one, and this is the one I measured at 1.5 inches high. So we'll get that one cut down. And again, the width remains the same. It's 3 inches wide, and we're going to slice this up slowly. Be careful not to cut your fingers. So now we have our 2 pieces. So again, you're going to need to do this 2 times. You're going to need one for the left monitor, one for the right monitor, one set for the left, one set for the right. And now here comes the magic. What we're going to do is create a slit inside the foam core. And the film is going to actually get inserted in that. The beauty of foam core is, in this case, the foam that we're cutting out creates a seal, if you will, or like a barrier for the film to slide right in, and holds it nicely in place. So do a little test fit here. If you see it goes in easily, then you're good to go. If you need to remove some of the foam core inside, you can as well. Again, we're going to be taking this piece and inserting it into the mount, so everything ends up being nice and snug. So I'm just going to remove a little bit of the foam core. And again, you can take your time. I'm doing this for the video, but the ones I actually remounted onto my screens are really, really sharp and precisely cut. So you'll see once you mount that in there, you get a nice clean fit, and you can easily adjust to make sure everything is nice and straight. This stuff just works so well for the bezel mount. So again, we have our opening now. Everything is nice and flush. And this is the one we'll be using for the top mount. And again, you're going to need 2 sets of these. I've already cut down the other ones, so I'm just doing a top and bottom right now for demonstration purposes. I'll take my bottom piece and do the same thing, cut a nice slit inside. And the reason I say you need a sharp blade, a fresh blade, is because you don't want to be pulling the foam core out with a dull blade. You want to literally slice into the foam core so it creates a pocket for the film to be inserted into. There you go. Grab the film, do a quick little test. That fits perfectly. Now we'll mount this into our bottom mount. And you have that little spring lever on the side. You just push that in, it opens it up, and then the foam core slides right in nicely. And the width of the foam core is perfect. Everything just fits so nicely into the mounts. It's almost like this was made to hold the Bezel-Free Kit. So we have our 2 mounts, top and bottom, and we're ready to go. Let's get these mounted onto the screens. All right, so here we are. I went ahead and mounted the top and bottom bracket onto the screens. Now all you need to do is slide that film into the bottom portion of the foam core, into that slit that we created. Do the same thing for the top. Once that gets in there, you'll hear a little snap. That means that the film is properly set. And that's about it. All you need to do now is adjust your bezels in game, and for most games you'll have to adjust that to 0. There's some pretty good videos out there on how to adjust the bezels in game for this Asus Bezel-Free Kit. But apart from that, all you'll need to do is maybe make some minor adjustments left and right, And what's nice about this solution is that the film just slides really nicely and easily left to right. So if you need to make any adjustments, super easy to do. You don't need to take off the brackets. But at the end of the day, it's a really nice solution. It's inexpensive, and the end result is awesome. I mean, this really adds to the immersion when you're racing, and I couldn't be happier with the end result. So if you guys are gonna go this route, please let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hopefully you'll find this an easy solution. I've attached here some images of what it looks like from the back, just so you get an idea. But again, nothing really was done differently. These are the standard brackets. You just snap them onto the back of the monitor and then slide your film inside the slits of the foam core. This is, again, the end result. And, you know, what else can I say? Just makes driving so much more fun. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.